All of us have heard this phrase, office of prophet, and it is in news all the time. You must have wondered, what is this office of prophet? Let us consider some examples. Gautam Gambhir is a member of parliament in the present 17th Lok Sabha since the year 2019. So, he has private income from cricket as a player and a commentator. Kapil Sibal is presently a member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha since the year 2016. He is also a senior advocate and recently was counsel in the popular Triple Talaq case and the Ram Janmabhoomi title suit. He was a member of parliament in Rajya Sabha earlier between 1998 and 2004. During that term, he served as Additional Solicitor General of India and President of the Supreme Court's Bar Association. Naveen Jindal was a member of parliament in Lok Sabha between years 2004 and 2014. He was the chairman of Jindal Steel and Power Limited at the same time. Similarly, Vijay Mallya was a member of parliament in Rajya Sabha between the years 2010 and 2016. He was the chairman of United Spirits, India's largest spirits company at that time. So, are these people holding an office of prophet? The answer is no. Then, what is office of prophet? To understand it, let us rewind 805 years back to the year 1215 AD, when Shamsuddin Iltutmish, the third of the Mamluk kings, was Sultan of Delhi Sultanate and King John ruled England. Those were the times of absolute power in the throne. The king or the queen, the sultan, the emperor, the Shehenshah or the Maharaj. But then happened a rebellion by the barons in England and Magna Carta was signed. The seeds were sown of democracy, constitutionalism, rights of the people and the modern legal system. So over time came the legislature to represent the will of the people and to control the absolute power of the king, essentially through the law. And gradually came the idea of rule of law, changing Rex Lex to Lex Rex. Further down, these democratic developments in the world were shaped by French jurist and philosopher Montesquieu's idea of the separation of powers of the government into the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So, the concept of office of prophet essentially comes from this idea of separation of power, specifically the separation between the executive and the legislature, that members of legislature shall not hold any post under the executive, else there will be conflict of interest. The assumption is that he who is a beneficiary of perks and emoluments generated from holding office in the government would not be able to have independent views about the government and perform the role of check and balance effectively. This concept is perfectly embedded in the American presidential system, where the executive under the presidency is totally separated from the Congress, the US legislature. However, in parliamentary system that is followed in India, the separation of power is not absolute. There is an exception that the member of legislature, say an MP, can hold one office of prophet, and that is of the minister. So, ministership is an office of prophet, but it is an exception for MPs, and hence they can hold it and not be disqualified. Do understand that the exception from disqualification does not mean the office itself is not an office of prophet. So, how do we know if an office is office of prophet or not? Let us define it first. Office of prophet is any position other than political to be filled by election or nomination for which the person draws a profit from the government. The expression office of prophet therefore has three elements, that is, there should be an office, it should be under the government, and its holder derives profit. Supreme Court of India in this case has explained more as to the tests to be applied to determine if an office is an office of profit under the government. That is, if the government makes the appointment or has the right to remove or dismiss the holder, or pays the remuneration, or even exercises control over the performance of the functions of the holder. So, why these controversies? The root cause of controversies is under Article 102 and 191 of the Constitution of India, whereby holding an office of profit is a ground of disqualification for legislators, except the minister. However, there is no clear definition of profit, but at the same time, legislature has also been given the power to exempt offices from disqualification by law. So, the Parliament has made a law, the Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act. There is a tendency of the Parliament to randomly exempt offices without any clear rationale because there is no clear definition of profit. Moreover, several offices, bodies, corporations, committees exist which are given to be held by MPs of the ruling party, usually to content them as they could not be made ministers due to the cap on the total number of ministers at 82, which is 15% of the strength of Lok Sabha. In Shibu Soren versus Dayanand Sahai 2001 case, the court disqualified Mr. Shibu Soren as a member of Rajya Sabha for holding the post of Chairman of Jharkhand Area Autonomous Council, whereby he received an honorarium of Rs 1750 per month. The court took the view that irrespective of nomenclature, honorarium in this case, it will be regarded as profit if any pecuniary benefit is being derived. However, payments like daily allowance and travel compensation are compensatory and not pecuniary benefits. Further, in Jaya Bachchan versus Union of India 2006, Supreme Court has clarified that whether the person is deriving the benefits or not is immaterial. The fact that the office provides for certain profit is sufficient to disqualify. Jaya Bachchan was appointed as chairperson of Uttar Pradesh Film Development Corporation and she was disqualified from Rajya Sabha. So, to complete our learning, let us consider one more example, that of the legendary cricketer Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar was awarded the honorary rank of Group Captain by the Indian Air Force in 2010. Later, he was nominated as a member of the Rajya Sabha in 2012 and he remained a member until 2018. So what do you think? Was Sachin Tendulkar holding an office of profit during that time? You can leave your answers in the comments below.